Hi everybody, this is Bill Flynn, the Executive Director at the New Canaan Nature Center. Today, we're just going to take a little walk through our woods and help you identify what is in your backyard. And beginning of April here, so a lot of signs of spring. It's a good time to ID stuff before it gets really full. So as you walk into a section of woods that you'll find near your house, big question, what are all these trees? Now, it's tough to identify trees by just bark. Leaves are obviously the most effective way to identify trees, but we'll look at a few barks here and size. So this first one, very large, very grainy, big lines coming down it. Okay, this is an oak tree. Now, another great way to tell if you've got an oak tree is look at the ground. At the base of this tree, we've got, acorns littered all over the place, and we've got oak leaves. So make sure you look at the bark's a hard part if you're not trained in the art of tree ID, but look at the ground around it. So in our area, these big, majestic, towering deciduous trees, good chance we've got some oaks. So these really big ones here, that one, got a skinny one, but the one behind it, those are all big oaks. Now, in contrast, as we're walking, we're gonna go by something that's clearly different. That's not an oak. Very beautiful tree, but you can tell very different by the bark. So you can tell from this tree, you have a lot smoother bark. Very smooth, not all those striations and those lines. It's a very smooth bark. Now this tree actually helps too, because if you go up, see, we've got a few leaves attached still. So this is a beech tree, which is very common in your area also. You can look on the ground for beech nuts. So we've got one right here. This is the inside of a beech nut. And also looking at the leaves, you can see here, we've got, a beech leaf right underneath the tree. So it's not foolproof looking at the ground around it, but certainly will help you as you're walking around. So a few others that I want to point out is what we have here is look through the trees. We've got some evergreens here, some really big ones. And these, we've got, in our area, we have hemlock. We have eastern white pines are very common. And these big ones are spruce trees. Really tall, really towering. And actually, right next door, I can show you the difference. Let's see here. That was a barred owl. That was a barred owl. Barred owls are one of the only ones that make calls during the day. I don't know if that came through on the video. That was really cool. So what I was going to show you was the underside of these leaves. So this is a hemlock tree. Lots more branching going up than our friends, the spruce. Not as thick. On the underside, you see those white lines underneath? There's two white lines. That's the indication. Short leaf. Versus our spruce here. So here you can tell the difference of the bark. It has almost a circular pattern for this spruce, and the needles don't have those white lines underneath, and it's not as flat. It's more of a circular, spirally shape of the needles. And all these really big ones up through here, you've got a mix. A huge one through the trees there, that's a spruce, and here's another hemlock right here. So as we're talking, we also have one of the most common plants you'll find in a lot of your yards, and this is the rhododendrons. There's a lot of rhododendrons in our area. They are a great native plant. We have a whole row of them here, but the other one that is actually the state flower of Connecticut is our mountain laurel. Mountain laurels look like rhododendrons, but they're a little bit smaller leafed. Getting through the bushes here. Here is one of your mountain laurels. Very similar looking. A little bit smaller. Ooh, here's something you'll find in your yard too. This is one of the invasives that's around here. See the winged part of the bark? It says burning bush. Bad. Highly invasive. You'll find it everywhere. Look out. If you see it, these wing tips, they don't have the wings on the old branches. See? This is one. So you've got the older branch doesn't have the big wings, but the newer branching as it's coming out has those wings on it. So burning bush is a highly invasive plant, but if you go in your backyard, there's a good chance you'll find it. Good chance you'll find oaks, spruce, hemlock, beech trees, all really good. Actually sprouting, or the leaves coming out right now. There's a lot of trees that come out at different times, and one of the only ones that's really popping are the willows. See if I can get a view for you here of our willow trees. Sort of a gap in the trees coming here, but if you look through, you see those really light green through the branches there? Those are willow trees. So if you look out right now, they're really one of the only trees that actually the leaves are coming out. So if you see leaves like that, good chance you have a willow tree in your yard. So as moving through the forest, ooh, here's another good one. A different one we haven't seen yet. Really distinctive bark. We've got a few here, and this one's really distinctive here. See if you can guess what it is. See that? So this, these really big flakes of bark coming off. That's where this gets its name. Okay, it's the shagbark hickory. Now, theoretically, yeah, okay, swear I didn't plant this, but you can, I mean, right at the base of this shagbark hickory, you've got hickory nuts. So all these shells make up the hickory nut. Looks like this inside, there's one of them. Okay. So that's gonna be your shagbark hickories. Also something that you can find in your own backyard most likely, or in your parks around. We're continuing to walk because it's a nice day out. Okay, these again, big towering oaks, the big lines down it. One interesting thing to note is, depending on if you have woods near your house, is to know really how old the section of forest is. A lot of New England was clear cut for farming, and if you look out and just look at the diameter of the trees, and so you'll get some very big, obviously some skinnier. When you've got a section of forest that has some of these really, really big, thick ones, and some skinnier ones, this is a good indication this is a very old section of forest. Trees like this, when you're talking, you know, I don't know if you can, I don't know if I can really, but this is a wide tree. I'm a wide guy, and this is much wider than me. So a tree like this is gonna be, you know, 100 plus years old, most likely. And, you know, versus a tree like this, a little young gray birch tree here, it looks like. The birch like bark, you're probably used to white birches. a tree like this is only going to be about 10 years old maybe. So if you look out on your area and you've got all the trees looking like they're the same diameter, there's a good chance that was clear cut at some point, and maybe it was 50 years ago. Then all the trees since then are going to be about 50 years old. So this is a section of older growth forest, the only one we have at the Nature Center. This was never farmland, and usually a healthier section of forest, which is cool. Okay, here's one of our resident eastern white pines, different than the other pine trees we were looking at. And one way you can always tell it's a eastern white pine is the number of needles in the bundle. So within this one bundle of pine needles, there are 5 needles. And you can remember that because white has 5 letters in the name. W-H-I-T-E, 5 letters, 5 needles in the bundle. That's a white pine. So you're gonna have a lot of the similar stuff in your backyard. Oh, hold on, look at this beech grove. See all the leaves still on it? Beautiful. All beeches right there. Mostly young ones. All right, well, that was just a little bit of getting to know your own backyard. There are a lot of things to find. Sometimes it's overwhelming and daunting. Start with your big plants here. Start with the trees. Those are sometimes easier to identify. Make sure you remember to look at the ground, look at what's around. Enjoy getting to know your backyard. If you have questions, just come up to the New Canaan Nature Center and ask us. We may have the answer, or we'll tell you how to get your answer. Thanks.